Hello, my name is Mrs. Matten. I teach on health and social care. It's a subject for anybody and everybody because actually you learn about what we go through in life. So it starts at looking at you when you're still in mummy's tummy, to the day you're born, all the way up to the point when you actually kick the bucket and die, unfortunately. But it's looking at everything in between that. So the weird, the wonderful, the challenging, the interesting, the beautiful, the expected, the unexpected. So really a load of things that we are going through in life. So it really helps you to build skills on how you will deal with situations, life events that will come up for you. Now, the course obviously runs over 2 years. It can then flow on into the sixth form, so you can have a really good route that takes you on up into further higher education. When we do the units themselves, there are 3 of them in total. One of those is an examined unit, which I'll explain a little bit more about in a moment. 2 of them are coursework. Now, the first coursework is all really about human development. So how we develop, what we go through, and you pick a certain client. Now, that might be a family member, it might be someone off your favourite soap, something like that. And you actually look at how they personally develop, what they do, what's happened in their life. And then you take that on to build it into a deeper level of understanding. What we then do is go on to Unit 2. And Unit 2 is all about looking at more clients again, but this time BTEC will choose them for you. And it's about looking at what their health problems are, how they will be met, who they will go and see, what treatment they might need, how they'll be looked after. And then, as I say, you take that into a deeper level as well of your understanding. So there's a real kind of mixture about what you can get involved in. You can do some parts where you might role play some of your work. If that really puts you off, don't not join the subject, but you might want to write about it instead. But it gives you an opportunity to kind of deliver your work in a slightly different way, quite practical. Or as I say, if you prefer it a little bit safer and want to do it on paper and write it, that's absolutely fine as well. But just to show you there's a bit of variety. The final unit is an exam. Now, the exam itself, when it comes to exams, is quite nice because what we actually get to do is we can see exactly what goes on in the whole of the paper. So there's 6 questions. There are always 6 questions, and each of those questions stay pretty much the same. All that changes is that you get a new client with a new problem to look into. And so we have tons of time to practice, get used to the questions, get used to how you would answer those. And the very nice thing about it is, because it's a BTEC, it will mean that actually we will sit that exam in year 11. So there'll be a bit of a time before we get there, build up our understanding. You'll get to sit it in year 11, and in year 11 we will do it early. So where you're waiting for all other courses to do them in the summer, what we will be doing is we will be doing it in around February. So that will mean you'll get your grade back very early. You'll be working on coursework. So even kind of before you leave me at the end of the year, you will have a really good idea of what your final grade will be. Because at the end of it, we add up all 3 units together to make your one final grade. So if exams aren't so much your thing, you like coursework or vice versa, whatever it is, you can build up your final grade through the coursework. You might do really well in the exam, but you can still build the coursework up, or you might have to do a little bit less on the coursework because your exam's been so high. So it's a real variety. The lessons, I hope, are engaging, but I'd love it if you ask my students about that, to prove I'm not going to be fibbing. But there's a range of things we do. We use loads of things like parts of the book. There's loads of revision guides. So it becomes that you can be very independent as well when it comes to the exam. Not that I'll leave you to it. It will be a case of you can then look at those parts and you can track where you're going all the way. We use different resources. I've got plenty more at school, but for example, we'll use familiar things like we can look at thermometers, peak flow meters to test your lung capacity. A new thing at the moment, which is looking at the oxygen within your blood, which is very relevant to the current pandemic we're going through. So it can actually monitor how much oxygen's in your blood, and that can then relate to different illnesses, different issues, and actually can relate to COVID at the same time. So we use some really good technology to help us out as well. We also use some fun things because we have to look at like child development. So we might look at toys, we might look at how things are promoting their intellectual ability, all sorts of things. So it's a real range. But what I'd love you to do is I'd love you to join. I'd love you to come and ask me questions, but obviously at the moment, please email me if you have any questions. That's going to come out in the leaflet that's on the website as well. And then if you really enjoy it, you might find that after 2 years of me, you can stand a little bit more and the team, and maybe go on to the level 3, which is a triple A level, but still a BTEC, so still contains coursework and some examined units as well. So I hope I've made sense. I hope I've kind of brought it to life a little bit. But as I say, any questions that you have, please do come back to me on email. And anything else you might need detail-wise is usually going to be involved in the leaflet. But look forward to seeing you in the lessons. Take care.